is almost the weekend. That means racing in Hong Kong returns with Sha Tin coming up on Sunday. 11 races, so another big program. There's lots of news on the show. It's a busy show between now and the end. Got the boys in the studio, Paul Lally and Tom Wood. And Tom, there's another bit of a twist and turn direction for the 4-year-old series.
There is. It's the last event on the card. There's heaps of 4-year-olds going around, and there's also another race on the program where there's a lot of 4-year-olds going around. So we're going to get a few more clues. We'll have a look at sort of the state of play on the show a little bit later on of who might be able to get into the Classic Cup. I've got a Class 2 race as well, which comes up for decision as race number 8, the Hung Yi Cook Cup.
As Paul Lally joins us too. Good quality program. Can you spice it up with some jackpots?
Just the one, and it's one of the ones we've had before here. 2.5 million going into the fifth double trio, last couple of races there. So that's always a good one. Should get over the 15 million mark we're predicting.
Good races, those last two also.
No, yeah, the last one is a really good betting race, as they normally are.
Absolutely. This is the meeting details for this weekend. We've got the early start time with racing taking place on the turf. The C+3 turf course is in operation. 12:30 the first, and the race that we'll preview in the second part of the show is the Class 2 over the 1,600 metres, the Cup race. News time, Tom, and we start with something that looks more akin to the English football transfer window. This is the licensing committee news. Jockey's coming in to replace a number of the boys on the injured list.
Yeah, this was Wednesday afternoon. This was published by the club. So Holly Doyle and Tom Marquand are here this weekend, and also for Happy Valley during the week with the 9 races there. And then we'll have Richard Kingscote coming in as well. James Orman's coming in for a stint. So they'll be here a little bit longer through to the 2nd of April. So too Declan McDonough and Ryan Moore flying in for 3 race meetings. So the 26th, the 2nd and the 5th, of course, with a few of the boys out at the moment.
So quite a really strong lineup in to fill the void left by the injured brigade. One of them is Richard Kingscote. Nick spoke with the man himself.
Obviously not the nicest of circumstances that those guys had injuries, but hopefully they're all okay. And I think it's one of the great things with racing is that these doors can open for us. And, you know, I think Tom's on his way out, Volley's on his way out, and gives me a chance to come and see how it all works as well.
And Richard, of course, you know, it goes without saying when you sort of look at your CV, it's a very extensive one, of course, plenty of winners and plenty of travelling as well, but never Hong Kong. Has it always been that destination that you wanted to get to, or is it just a case of it happening now and here you are?
Yeah, absolutely. It's only really been the last couple of years I've gone anywhere in the winters. I usually stayed in the UK. So it's definitely been on the list, and it's great that it's came up. I'm in a different place with my career now, being more freelance going into this year. So I wasn't expecting to go anywhere this winter. But to be honest, I'm delighted it's came along. There's not much happening in the UK this time of year, and it's a great opportunity.
Richard, I know you've called upon Ryan Moore for some advice. Now, there's probably no better man, in fairness. I think he first came out here when he was at the tender age of about 18 or something, but plenty of big winners here. What sort of advice did Ryan impart on you as far as Hong Kong racing is concerned?
Ryan gives me lots of advice in general throughout the years. When I spoke to him the other day, he just said, make the most of it. It's a great place, but you'll have to do plenty of homework, which, if I'm honest, is probably one of my downfalls. So I'll have to work on that and probably ask a few favours of people to show me the ropes. But I'm looking forward to getting cracking.
And I guess one element you might well be looking forward to, Richard, I just had a quick look through your stats for certain racecourses. Chester ranks as number 5 as far as winners for you are concerned. I bet you're looking forward to having a go at our version of Chester in the shape of Happy Valley, aren't you?
I am. I've always liked to race on the front end. People used to give me grief for it, but hopefully it'll be something that will stand me in good stead. You know, I enjoy Chester. I enjoy horses on the speed, so hopefully it'll help.
We can't talk to you without chatting about some of the good horses that you have ridden. Obviously, one that really does spring to mind, of course, is is Brown Panther, but you're also a Derby winning jockey. We shouldn't forget, and obviously winning on Desert Crown. That I imagine is somewhere near the highlight of your career so far.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You know, to win a Derby's huge for anybody. I was very lucky in my career up to that point, but that just elevated that bit more and be a day I never forget.
And just finally, Richard, on a slightly more jovial note, am I right in thinking that you've sort of put on hold getting another licence to take this one? The motorcycle's your thing, isn't it? When you're going to race the motorcycle sometime soon?
Yeah, I had a few trips lined up for the bike. The race licence was booked next weekend, and then a trip to Portugal, and then the first race meeting was middle of March. But that can all wait. You know, this opportunity is very important. So, you know, the bikes can stay in the garage for a little while.
He should bring one over, Paul. It'd be perfect practice for motorcycle racing to take on the taxis around Hong Kong.
Yeah, we're going to be weaving in and out all over the places.
He comes here well credentialed, as we heard, Tom. A freelance because formerly retained by Sir Michael Stout, who's recently retired.
Yeah, and he's had 1,583 wins. He's ridden, of course, throughout the UK, Australia, Ireland, the UAE, Japan, France, Bahrain, even Turkey. So he's got a fairly extensive CV with Group 1 wins on there as well. I wonder if he'll take on the Isle of Man one day.
Possibly, yeah. We'll find out where he goes with the motorcycle riding after the horse riding in Hong Kong. Holly Doyle is also in town this weekend, Tom, and this is Holly's rides.
Bingo Babe, Dragon Four Seas has definitely got some sort of a chance. I do like Draco in the fifth event as well. Billionaire Secret put in a better effort last time out. Namjong Kingdom, Romantic Thor, sort of the jury's out. We're there at the moment. So too, Candlelight Dinner, who's got cheap speed, and Aero Invincible's probably a little hard to have in the grade. But first ride looked to one of the best rides, Paul, to be on the first page.
Yeah, look, I don't mind Draco actually as well, and there's been a lot of money from him at Happy Valley. I think he's going to be suited by the big Sha Tin course when he gets there.
Yep, good draw and up in trip. Tom Doyle's coming also, Paul. Tom Marquand in town with the happy couple joining us. What about Tom's rides?
Wrote a new page. I think is going to need a bit further. He's a first starter. It was a better run from Mouldy Super. Lucky Blessing will go to the front. Naval Force looks a good ride for him. He'll enjoy meeting the owners of Karma. Invincible Shield. Now, I don't mind this horse. I thought it was a good trial, and there was money from on debut, but I think he's improved since then.
He covered a lot of ground too. I've got him on top this weekend, Invincible Shield. So I think he's a strong winning chance. I think he's drawn low. I think at barrier 1 too.
Yep. Barrier number 1 and won a trial from the front too has Invincible Shield. That's the news on the jockeys for this weekend. The weekend after, it's just as big because there's plenty of Group 1 racing. And we've seen a number of the Group 1 horses out in the last 24 to 48 hours at the trials. And we start, Paul, with Ka Ying Rising up at Chung Fa. This took place on Friday morning. I was able to drop in behind the leader early. Comes out 3 wide at the top of the straight. And David Hayes, if he's made the trip up to Chung Fa, Karis Teton certainly did, will both travel back very happily.
They will, won't they? I mean, the horse has just held his condition nicely. A nice trial once again from the horse. And, you know, he's the best sprinter in the world, and he's just going nicely enough at the moment. No problems with him.
Of course, he goes to 1,400 metres now, does Ka Ying Rising there, and his trial looked very strong. Obviously, he's going to run into Helios Express. Does that maybe give Helios a chance to turn the tables? Maybe it's probably going to be tough, I feel. Yeah,
it'll be better for Helios to 14, I'm sure, because he's out and out sprinter, but I still think he's got that X factor, isn't he?
Funny you should mention Helios Express, Tom, because here he is at Sha Tin trials on Thursday morning.
Yeah, and he trialled over the 1,200 metres. 1:12.9 was the time there. You got Beauty Eternal out wider on the track there, and Voyage Bubble as well. I thought Voyage Bubble, the way he quickened over the final stages in this barrier trial, but Helios Express looked to be in good form this morning, Paul, and there was a little bit of moisture around on the track too.
Yeah, a little bit more forward, wasn't he, than he does race. He sort of has been getting back. A lot of it's been dictated by the draws as well. So look, it shows he can race on the pace, no problem. Nice quiet trial for him.
And we get some reaction now from the trainer of Voyage Bubble, Ricky Yu.
He jumped ordinary, and after a few hundred meters, then the jockey comment was he didn't really like the kickback. So he was just behind midfield, only a small field. He's about 4 lengths behind the leaders, and from the top of the straight, they pulled him out and asked him to go forward. Then he accelerated again. I mean, without a kickback, he enjoyed it. It was a good trial.
You have to feel for James McDonald, Paul. No romantic warrior in the cup, but Voyage Bubble will run instead.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's going well, isn't he? And he's had a great season, Voyage Bubble.
It'll be interesting to see what J-Mac's travel plans are, of course, with Saudi next weekend as well. Getting back, I'd say the Gold Cup's likely to be later on in the card.
And imagine, say, you'd like to have his air points, Dom. This is Galaxy Patch. This was over the 1,200 metres. He's right of screen.
Yeah, and he quickened up nicely down the outside in this barrier trial too. Wasn't a strong opposition that he met here. I think smart fighter there, and you've also got Mr. Energia there as well. And Blake Shin, of course, is going to take the ride. Zach was going to be aboard the horse, but with Zach being out, Blake is back on board. But I think they just need to ride him a bit closer, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just the way he has been getting back. I mean, the second behind Voyage Bubble was good, but Voyage Bubble definitely had the wood on him, I thought.
He did. He came on a lot from that first run to the second, did Voyage Bubble. Here is How Deep Is Your Love, Paul. He's been racing competitively in the Group 1s, and this is his lead-up run to a week on Sunday.
Yeah, he's sort of on trial for Dubai, I think, as well, a little bit here. How Deep Is Your Love? And you can see him coming nicely down the outside here in his trial. So he's another one who's going to go into the race cherry ripe as well. He's been in great form this season as well.
Yep, and hit his straps nicely down the centre of the track. Of course, these trials were held after, or Thursday morning after the all-weather meeting, so the track was in better order than it was on Wednesday night for the race meeting. But yeah, his trial was very good too, and they'd be pretty satisfied where he is at. He missed a trial, I think, the week before. He was due to trial Tuesday and then trialled Friday for whatever reason.
He's, as Paul mentioned, heading likely towards Dubai if everything goes to plan to try and win it again for Hong Kong China, the Al Quoz, after California Spangle won it last season. That's been a news-filled start to Racing to Win. We'll come back and focus on some form right after this. Welcome back to Racing to Win. Our focus is Sha Tin on Sunday. The break has just been on, Paul, and it's time for your last run reminder, and it's a very topical tip on Valentine's Day.
It is, isn't it? No at heart there.
Like what you've done there.
Which is, yeah, there you go. We like to please the audience. Race 9 here with No at Heart. You can see him on screen there. He just didn't get a run all the way down the straight. Now, the one thing is he does get back, so we'll need a bit of luck in the running once again. But once he got into the clear, he did finish off, but he was under a massive hole all the way down, so he didn't really get his opportunity. This gives you a better look at why he did finish under a hole. There's just no room for him right behind the sort of the leaders, and just couldn't get out at all. So keeping him at 1,000 metres, and he'll definitely get his chance once again.
We love you. Last one reminders. We love you too, Paul.
Yeah, thanks, mate. That means a lot.
I can tell. On to the preview now for race number 8, the running of the Hung Ye Cook Cup, and the Golden Scenery has a wider draw at the top of the hook. Love you too, Tom. Sunlight Power has an extra £9 for his last start win. Karma's a 3-time course and distance winner. Woodfire Bro has the tongue tie coming off. Midwinter Win, sensational debut on Hong Kong. £10 less for this race too as he comes up in grade and steps up in trip. We've got Mick Lee, who's been racing lots lately. Void Samurai, the cheek piece is off, the blinkers on, and Romantic Thor has the blinkers, the crossover noseband, and the tongue tie all removed, Paul, and Void Samurai is going to lead.
Yeah, he should lead. Should get the lead from Flaming Rabbit. Now, Flaming Rabbit can lead, but he hasn't in the last couple. When Karras rides him, he doesn't lead on him. So that's why I thought Void Samurai might go forward and lead. Woodfire Bro will get his opportunity. Torben Prince likes to go forward. So there should be a good bit of pace in this race. Now, Midwinter Win stepping from the 12 straight up to the 1,600 metres. So he might be slightly closer in the run. But it worked last time when he came from the back, so they might hold him up in there.
We're going straight to the trainer of Sunlight Power. It is Ricky Yu. Ricky, Sunlight Power, finally some luck in a race last time and he was able to win.
Yeah, he's been always close. He's locking the door a few times, and the jockey rode him really well.
Have you always had a good opinion of the horse? Because he's done a great job despite plenty of bad luck.
Yes, he didn't have all that kind of luck at the beginning of his career, but we correct him in the morning because he can pull quite hard. So we correct him. He's getting more and more relaxed. So he then eventually he ran a good race.
No Zach this week, so Hugh takes over as the jockey. His style looks like it will suit the horse perfectly.
Yes, I mean the seems to be the riding style of Hill. He suits the horse well.
Has he trained on well since that last win?
Yes, he went back to Chongfa for about 10 days or so, and came back as a fresh horse. I saw him this morning. He's just as good as gold.
There he is, Ricky Yu, Paul, Sunlight Power. Really nice horse, extra weight though, and meets a number of the same runners again this week.
Yeah, no, definitely. And look, he is one of the leading chances in the race for sure. He's done a few things wrong in his races. He's been green, but he's turned into a really nice racehorse, and he got all the luck last time.
Oh, he's only been unplaced 6 times. He's won 5 of 20. It's just taken him a wee while to mature and get what this racing game is about, but it was a strong performance there.
Karma Tom was sniffing around the money last time, but we're going back to the 20th of October where he got to the outside and was victorious.
He was, and he was third last time out behind Sunlight Powers we saw in that replay. He's meeting him £7 better off. He wanted to over-race last time out, so he was quite fierce in those mid-stages. At his best, he can give this a decent sort of a shake. He's got another couple of pounds to carry here, Paula. I didn't quite find him in the top 4 in the end.
No, I didn't either. And barrier 3, I don't know if it's going to be ideal for him because he's a big horse and he does need racing room.
Ricky, who's been on already, Paul, of course, talking about Sunlight Power. It's not the only runner he has in the race. We haven't seen CP Brave for a little while, but this is a trial from him. His last run was back in October.
Yeah, look, I'd prefer to see him. Fresh up here. He's drawn barrier number 12 as well. He's won fresh up in the past, so, I mean, he is more than capable, but look, I think there's better credentialed horses in this.
He was due to line up at the back end of January, but had some inadvertent treatment and couldn't go in that barrier trial, and he's had that nice enough second here. Nothing wrong with it, obviously behind Mugen, so we're keen to see what he can do, but first up against a few seasoned horses at the moment might be a difficult task for him.
Mid-winter wind. Tommy was at pretty big odds, and at this stage it looked like he was going to finish where his odds would suggest he might, but over 1,200 metres, this was some debut. You don't see too many better for a horse having their first start for a PP in Hong Kong. Yeah,
it was a sensational victory from him, a really highly rated performance too, from where he's come from, the section that he's reeled off. Now he's going to jump up and trip big time here if they want to get, of course, into the derby or something like that. But there's probably a few stats against him, Paul, to say he probably can't win second up as a PP, but it was a highly encouraging performance.
Oh, really good run. Yeah, look, 12 up to 16. Ideally, they would have liked to have gone 14, 16, but obviously time's against them, and that's why. But if you just look at this graphic, you can see how quick he did run that last 400 metres. So I think they will try and sell him back and let him run on really strongly once again. But yeah, I think he's going to be tough to beat if he does reproduce it.
He was the quickest home by some margin on anything this day. Beauty Light in the same race, 21.93, but just was sensational over the final stages. The speed that he showed was very, very strong late.
You look at Devano there. He's got home equally as well in his race, and he was almost a quarter of a second slower than Midwinter Wind.
Yeah, it was a really strong performance. Obviously, he's got to step up and do that. 2,000 metres over in South Africa, he ran over. He wasn't placed there, and he placed 5th in his one run over the 1,600 metres at Greyville in a Group 2 race.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to take a short price about him. I wouldn't. If he's odds on, I wouldn't be touching him. I'd be looking at value.
I think he'll be even money, maybe shorter.
Yeah, and if he is, then, you know, is he a good betting proposition? It's when you start looking at the exotics and sort of the other runners.
Interesting point if you're betting in that race. Now, here's Johannes Brahms. This is the Classic Mile. Tommy's off the bit, even though he was wide, he was off the bit a long way from home, and if there's bad luck, Mickley seems to find it.
Yeah, well, he's had plenty of racing recently, hasn't he, Mickley? And he got home in 22.26 for this performance here behind My Wish, where he was only beaten a length and a half, and had a real set to with Mark Wynn about halfway down. There was a lot of buffeting between those two. Ultimately, Mark Wynn came off worse for that. I don't know what to make of the performance of Johannes Brahms, because he was probably one of the better chances going into the 4-year-old series, but he was a bit plain there, I thought, for my liking.
Mickley was a far better run, in my opinion. Look, I'm going to put Mickley in, but I'm not going to put Johannes Brahms in.
There is the picture for the Hong Kong Classic Cup. Tom, gorgeous winner name on there that's now appearing over shorter racing recently, but up to 1800.
Well, there is a precedence, of course, for these sprinters to get into the Classic Series. Of course, Galaxy Patch there in the Derby. The top 3 guaranteed a start. The horses with asterisks next to their name are racing this weekend. Sky Trust, had he have won the other day, he would have probably been a little bit further up in the ratings. Obviously, Packing Angel at this point, Paul, not guaranteed a start by any stretch.
No, he's just out. He's a couple of points out, isn't he? So we'll see if the couple drop out. If some of them drop out, then yeah, he'll get in. And if he does get in, he'll probably start favourite.
Speed Dragon, Paul, has winning form. This over the 1800 metres last time, but it was at Happy Valley. He beat California Totality, who's just racing so well. He won again on the weekend, but it's harder with some of the horses he's meeting this week outside of California Totality.
Yeah, this is only his second win in Hong Kong, but he has won over the course and distance at Sha Tin, so he has won at Sha Tin and also now at Happy Valley, and he's in form at the moment.
He is. He'd actually trialled really well leading into this start, and he went off at 18-1 last start to score. He's obviously got a light weight to carry here. There's been winners out of the race, as you mentioned, California Totality. He's a 4-year-old, and the other one out of that race, that one was Sunstrider.
He was indeed, but it's a good race. Who do you like, Paul?
Well, I'm going to go with Midwinter Wind. It was a very good run from him, obviously, as we highlighted. You just wouldn't want to take a short price about him. Sunlight Power second. Mickley ran on nicely. And Voyage Samurai, if he does get his own way in front, I think he can be there for a long period of the race. 7, 2, 8 and 10.
Yeah, I agree with Paul around Midwinter Win. The stats for PPs who've won their first start, going into their second start and winning are not strong, but it's hard to go against him the way he won first start, but a short price I would not be taking. Mickley's in for second, Sunlight Power, and we'll throw in Speed Dragon. Did fancy him last time out, and he's only had one run in this company in the past. So 7, 8, 2 and 12.
And that is the preview for the Cup race, and all the races are on the website, hkjc.com. Click on audio and video for race-by-race analysis, Paul, but we need your best bet right now.
I'm going to go with the first starter in Hong Kong, a horse called Colourful King. Look, he did win 2 races over 1,000 metres in Australia. He's had 3 trials here. The last 2 he's won. This is 2 trials ago when he was on the straight course, won so impressively here. And since then he's come out on the all-weather and won a really nice trial there, beating Laser Blanca actually in that trial. So look, a really nice trial from him. And I think he can make a winning debut. We'll make the value play Majori Giant. Blinkers on the first time, drawn wide but gets back, ran a really good 4th last start. And we'll do the play of the day in race 3, 1, 8 and 10, a QQP, Magnifique. Everyone's gallop there at Lucky Symphony.
Beauty Alliance, the best bet, covered a lot of ground at Happy Valley last time out as a beaten favourite, stepping to 1800. Packing Hurricane won the equivalent of this race last year. He's in the stable now of David Eustace. And the play with Victor the Rapid dropping in grade. Top Dragon was very good last start, and Laser Blanca for his debut.
Top Dragon, good draw. Just hoping with Laser Blanca having that wide draw, Top Dragon might be able to have that race fitness on side to trouble him. Winning Wing's been running on, goes up in distance. Dylan Moe for Francis Loy. He's in the last and will make him in the play with a Bundle Award, Dragon Joy and Winning Wing in a QQP. That has been Racing to Win. Tom, we're going to have a look at the diary right now. Just take note, Wednesday night, the first will be even earlier, 6:35, and then it's a huge Sha Tin Sunday.
Yeah, 2 trophy races coming up on Wednesday night, and then, of course, the Gold Cup and the Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup are all part of the action next weekend, Paul.
Yeah, Wednesday night, can Beauty Destiny make it the 4th win of the season? He's won 3 of his last 4. He's a reformed horse.
He is indeed. We'll preview that race on the show on Tuesday. You can find out if Paul and Tom do think that he can carry on his winning way. But we wish you your winning way when it comes to Sha Tin racing on Sunday afternoon.